The real loss in this story is that, like, I know that Derek is gone, and that is kind of sad because I feel like the writers failed that character. But the saddest thing for us as viewers is that we have to say rest in peace to our favorite Allie, too. What is up, fellow Beyond the Gates watchers? There is a noise where I usually record my reviews, so I'm recording in here today. But I think I could keep it short and sweet today with today's episode, because really all you can say about today's episode was, gee, that sucked. If they were really trying to have some good aftermath after a great Tuesday episode and after a death yesterday, well, they did not hit the mark. If they were throwing a dart at the dartboard, they didn't even hit the board. They hit the wall. So that is how I feel about today's episode overall. Because an episode mostly dedicated to Ashley grieving is rough. It's rough because there is not enough care from us as an audience where it comes to her grieving for Derek. And I feel like they tried to deal with those issues today. She tried to turn herself into a martyr. It was a lot of her feeling sorry for herself, feeling like she's the reason that Derek died, feeling like she was too much of a control freak when they were together. She wishes she gave Derek a chance to explain after wanting to walk at their wedding. And it's like, yeah, you should have done all this. But we as viewers saw this all play out with our own eyes. We saw how Ashley was always wanting Andre when they were together. And we saw how when they got back together, when Derek couldn't walk, right after Ashley broke up with Derek again when she learned that he could walk. She went straight to Andre, tried to get with him again, but he had moved on with Danny. So, yeah, Ashley just sucks as a character. And for her to be the focal point of grieving Derek, it just is not good TV. In fact, it was really, really bad TV. One of my least favorite episodes ever of the show, I would say, because it's stupid writing. And then to top that all off, the one person who we should have saw grieving in this episode, because it is the one person that the show has showed us that actually did give a shit about Derek, is Jacob. But there's no grieving from Jacob today. We got no reaction from Jacob grieving Derek's death. He's just too busy with this damn Impaler case still. His botched Impaler case where his friend died. Seems like he couldn't even care. So why should we as an audience care about these shitty characters that they have been shoving down our throat with this Impaler storyline for months now? Jacob, Ashley, Naomi, and Grayson are terrible television. And I will never not feel that way. They have done a terrible job of making these four even watchable at this point. So I thought the Ashley stuff today was truly bad television. Jan came over, did a better job of grieving for Derek, but that's about it. Like I said, though, no grieving from Jacob. He was just too busy questioning Grayson about everything what went down, what he saw in the warehouse, even though Jacob was there himself, but I guess this is just protocol, I don't know. Grayson saying that he was sorry for what went down. Grayson is somehow going to be able to keep his job even though he was stealing from the hospital. That's another pretty stupid point of this storyline. I get that in the end, Grayson was a part of this undercover work with Jacob when Jacob pulled him into it. But we are to believe that Grayson had been stealing from the hospital for a very long time now. He's been a part of this for at least several months, if not over a year, a part of this operation, stealing from his job. Somehow he could keep that job because the police are going to keep it quiet. I think it's stupid. It's just a way to keep Grayson and Ashley near each other and give us another awful couple to experience with this show and its writing. There were scenes with Ren today telling Jacob there's other big dogs in the Impaler case out there, and Ren says he knows who the Impaler is, so he could get off with that info. And then after Ren left, Jacob just continued to yap about this stupid, nonsensical case where the writers have not even done a very good job of explaining the hierarchy of the Impaler stuff. We don't even know where Leah falls on the hierarchy. But yet they expect us as viewers to just eat it up and actually give a damn. Well, I don't. And Jacob didn't give a damn about Derek dying, so there's that. Marcel was with Leah at the hospital, who he considered to be a friend. So Marcel was feeling some kind of way about Leah and about not being able to tell that she was lying to him a couple weeks ago or something. Leah also apologized to Shanice, says why she did what she did, that she's sorry her actions brought shame to the hospital, that Shanice could pick up the pieces that she left behind with the hospital, and Shanice said she will pick up those pieces. And then Jacob went to Leah to try and cut a deal with her too, saying he wants to know who the Impaler is, who is this guy. Leah says she can't help because she doesn't actually know who the Impaler is, never met him, so she can't identify them. So I guess we are supposed to believe that Leah is somewhat high on the hierarchy of this Impaler case, but not high enough to know the Impaler, which again is why I say, truly wish the writers would actually map that out better. But at this point, I don't know if anyone cares. But we are still continuing with this Impaler storyline, so we have to try and care or attempt to care, because it's going to be dragged out until we actually learn who the Impaler is. So yeah, that was the most part of this episode. Grieving for Derek and the Impaler stuff continuing. The real loss in this story is that, like, I know that Derek is gone, and that is kind of sad because I feel like the writers failed that character. But the saddest thing for us as viewers is that we have to say rest in peace to our favorite Allie too, because Jacob and Smitty are probably not going to be meeting in that alley anymore. And I just had a thought that we still have to hear Smitty's take on this story. So we're still going to have some drawn out things with this Impaler aftermath that I don't think we as viewers really care about. Elon went to Joey today to talk about Randy being caught staking out the place when the police were there. Elon wants to know where Joey was last night. Joey says he was home. Elon made some threats to Joey, saying that he will not see the light of day again if he had anything to do with last night. Joey saying that for better or for worse, they are all tied together. I assume because of the Kenny thing. But, like, I think the show needs to figure out a way of making characters not seem weak or stupid when it comes to Joey, because this is the police chief. And I feel like, yeah, he tried to check Joey today, but I don't really know if it hit. And it also doesn't make sense because Elon knows that Joey is in a lot of shady business. And so he would arrest Joey if Joey was involved with the Impaler case, but he never arrests Joey for being involved with his other crimes. To me, that's not exactly computing, because they've kind of teased the fact that Marcel is under Joey's thumb, but they never really fleshed out exactly why Elon is, who is the chief of police. And I think that's something else that I would like the writers to actually do a better job of conveying to us. If the episode wasn't bad enough, we had to deal with Trash and Donnell today, talking about the shooting and Leah involved with it. Donnell questioned her about the plasma ring and if Joey could be involved with it. And of course, Vanessa was going to defend Joey at all costs. Joey says that, well, Donnell said that Joey's name was written all over this and that she can't tell him it doesn't seem like Joey would be involved in something like this. But Trash went on some rant about how Joey picks on people his own size and not lowly stuff like plasma. And this ended in Donnell actually being pissy with his mother for once. And Donnell went to go see Joey and tell Joey that he too is not so sure that Joey was not involved with all of the blood plasma stuff. And Donnell is beginning to think that Deanna is right and that Joey is playing both of them. So at least Donnell had a little more pep in his step today as far as his balls dropping today, I guess. That's a good change of pace for him, especially with the probability of maybe seeing his father tomorrow. I don't know who's going to see Doug. I don't know if we're going to see Doug, but that does seem to be the case because everyone is saying that the actor who plays him, I can't remember his name and I can't find it real quick, but I guess he was in the credits yesterday. Jason Graham. So maybe the show is spoiling Doug's return before his actual return too. That is something I am looking forward to tomorrow if the writers don't botch it. Because there's a lot of people speculating that he could be the Impaler, but that would make no fucking sense from the character we knew 7 or 8 months ago when he was an alcoholic and a gambling addict, and then suddenly he's the Impaler. That's not going to make any sense. I also don't know if they're going to have it be like Vanessa has known he's alive the whole time and she's been trying to take down Joey, because they've written Vanessa so unlikable that that's going to come across nonsensical too. But we'll deal with that when we get there. There's also speculation. I know Phoenix Rising in the chat today during the watch along has said, and I've heard others say this, that maybe Doug is Nicole's patient. Maybe Nicole has known Doug is alive this whole time. I wouldn't mind that. I did forget in my notes that Tomas and Bill and Kat were on today, still yapping about Lynette, still trying to find Lynette. Tomas thinking maybe Leah ran Lynette out of town or had her killed because Leah was a part of the Impaler stuff and now Derek is dead. Kat still thinks they can find Lynette and Leah just needs to be asked if she had Lynette killed. Honestly, you all know how I felt about the Lynette character, because I really did like her. But at this point, having Tomas on the case, I can't even be fucked to care about that either. So, yeah. Today was kind of back to business as usual for the show, which means boring. I do think tomorrow will be better because of the spoiler, or at least maybe we'll get a good cliffhanger on a Friday for once. It's the only thing that's really keeping me holding on to really be hopeful about this show is the fact if Doug might be alive, but I would not be surprised if the writers botched that too. But here's hoping for the best.